look who's back. Hey guys, thanks for watching and welcome back. So for those of you who are newer to my channel, I run Budget Bugout, and basically my mentality is to be a practical prepper rather than a doomsday prepper who have a lot of money and to spend at one prep individually, or whether that be just super narrowed in on nuclear fallout.
I'm preparing my family for the total destruction of the power grid.
A devastating earthquake.
A series of catastrophic terrorist attacks.
Super volcano.
I like to use the money that I do have, which is not a lot, you know, being in the military, active duty, enlisted, we don't have a lot of income being thrown our way. But the amount that I do, I budget things that are going to be a little bit more common. So whether that be a natural disaster or losing power or things of that nature. One of the things that I'm going to be talking about later on is 3 things that I did right during this pandemic, and I'll kind of cover that here in a second. But what I want to talk about mostly in this video is the 3 things that I wish I would have done better in during this COVID-19 situation, or just the year of 2020, because so many things are happening right now. So 3 things I wish I would have done better at. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I was tagged by another YouTuber, the Urban Prepper. He's actually a channel that I've been watching a long time, even before I started my own channel. He actually was inspiration for me.
And I'm also gonna tag Marty from Budget Bugout. So those are the 2 YouTubers that I'm gonna tag to see what 3 things that they wish they would do differently if they had known about the coronavirus and just the stuff that they'd learned during this overall process.
And he was tagged by the person who created this tag or challenge, as it were, which is her channel is known as Mama Bear Preparedness, and I'll link her channel down below, so be sure you check out their videos as well. And I might have stolen 1 or 2 things from those videos. I'd love to hear from you, so consider yourself tagged. I'm not going to tag anybody else, but if you want to leave a comment or a video link to a video response in the comment section down below, I would love to kind of learn from people who had their own experiences. Let's go ahead and get down to it. The 3 things that I wish I would have been better at is that, first and foremost, I did not have a lot of pandemic types of supplies. So, you know, the hand sanitizers, the gloves, the masks, I didn't have a lot of them to last me for months anyways. I did have enough to last me for weeks, or maybe over a month if I really stretched them. Even though COVID-19 was bad, it could have been a lot worse if this was a pandemic that would have taken the lives of 50% or more of the individuals who contracted it. So that's why some of us in the prepping community feel like this was a little bit of a practice run, because it could have been a whole lot worse. And so we want to learn from this, so that whether it be the second wave that will probably happen later this year, or whether it be something worse that could happen in the future, these are good takeaways. Maybe a little bit more streamlined, and then just taking better inventory of what I had, rather than just sort of like going through while the news was breaking and saying, oh, what do I have? So those are things I wish I'd been better at. The 3rd thing is that I wish I would have had renewable items or a bigger stockpile. So you can see I got behind me, I got MREs, and those have their purposes. And then I have basically hiker food, and freeze-dried and dehydrated food. So those things, they'll fill you up, they'll get you by, but I didn't have really a lot of canned items, nor did I have a garden or anything like that. So, you know, having those abilities to not only just survive like I could do, but also having a little bit more morale along the way are good things to have, because you eat enough MREs, you're going to get stopped up. I'm just telling you how it is. So I wish I would have done a little bit better with those preps, but thankfully, like I said, I'm going to talk about the 3 things I did right. So I'll just go ahead and get started on those. I was thankful that I did have enough food and water to last me for, you know, a few months, thankfully. And then I had medical stuff, you know, that had plenty of medicine. And a lot of that is a result of just having different systems and more or less stockpiling as I went, and not really clearing out a whole lot. So I already kind of talked about. I wish I would have streamlined a little bit more, but thankfully, because as I've said in other videos, I was preparing for a lot of different scenarios at once. And one thing that I've said in my zombie survival kit videos is that if you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for anything. I said that kind of as a joke, but it actually turns out to be true, because even though I was not preparing for a pandemic, I had a lot of those items that whenever the COVID started to spread to certain parts of the world, Europe being where I am right now, Europe being one of those first places, those items were not available in stores. So thankfully, I did a good job making sure I had enough of them to get by. And then the second thing that I did right is that or I should say, the third thing I did right, because one of those things is I prepped for everything, right? So the third thing that I did right is that I used discernment and critical thinking to kind of see through the crap that was out there, all the information that was out there. So that means that I had a healthy amount of distrust, not an unhealthy amount. So I wasn't paranoid and conspiracy theorists and things like that. So it wasn't like losing control or panicking or fear mongering. But the World Health Organization was putting out stuff. The CDC was putting out stuff, sometimes contradicting what I was seeing. But I could see through it, and even though the World Health Organization was saying certain things about China, I was like, yeah, but I'm seeing videos that are saying, and so then I would go out, grab items that I thought I needed, and then stockpile them away. And sure enough, whenever that information broke, a few weeks later, that, oh, it's not contained, bad stuff is going to happen. People kind of overnight went out and cleared the shelves of those hand sanitizers and masks and toilet paper for some reason. So I was glad that I had discernment in order to identify that. But there's other parts of that too, is to be able to use critical thinking. Don't just look at sensational headlines and just say, oh my gosh, Bill Gates is behind this. As insane as it is, people believe that stuff. And even YouTubers, I was kind of disappointed in some of them, that they were basically fear-mongering and saying, it's the end of the world, or implying it, and trying to get views and gain subscribers. Thankfully, YouTube demonetized the COVID-19 stuff, so they couldn't cash in on some of those views. But there's them and news sources. You just got to have a healthy amount of distrust for everything, and not panic. So there's a lot of panicking. And then the other side of the coin of staying informed is to know when to unplug and literally take a hike. And that's what I've been doing. I've been hiking for many miles. I've put a couple hundred miles on my shoes, as it were. Just kind of getting outside and taking a breather, getting some vitamin D, keeping my mental health going, staying physically fit, and things of that nature. And actually be doing a video coming up pretty soon about like what I keep in my day hiking backpack. I'm building a multi-day hike bag as well. But anyways, that's pretty much in a nutshell what I wanted to cover. So hopefully this video was able to shed a little bit of light on helping you guys, but I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts. What are things that you learned or things that you did well and that you want other people to know about so they apply that next time. Anyways, guys, y'all stay safe out there, and remember, it pays to be prepared. God bless.